is Brad Meltzer. Here we are, face to face.
Face to face.
Okay, first, I'm very jealous of you. You get to write comics, true?
I get to write superheroes, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and when I do, I wear my underwear on the outside of my pants. Think about it. Think about it.
Very, very heroic.
That's one word for it. Other people would say crazy.
Okay, so Superman versus Batman versus a Green Arrow. Who wins in a match?
So everyone's going to say Superman, but you know why Batman wins?
Why?
Because Batman never loses. That's what I tell my kids. And if not, they don't eat that night.
What do they eat?
Kryptonite
Makes them stronger.
makes them weaker.
Oh, God.
Think about it again, right? Kryptonite.
Oh, yeah, they're not from Krypton.
Says you.
Okay, so what got you interested in writing?
So you know what it was? It was a teacher who said to me, change my life with 3 words. She said to me, you can write. And that's it. It takes one teacher who says to you, you can do it, and I believed her. And that teacher forever changed my life in that day.
So since you write comics, what is your favorite superhero?
So I love superheroes, and I do love Batman, but you know why I love Superman? Because the most important part of the story is not Superman. The most important part of the story is Clark Kent. And you want to know why? Because we're all Clark Kent. We all know what it's like to be boring and ordinary and wish we could do something beyond ourselves. And that's what I love the most, is the power of an ordinary person.
So what'd you read as a kid?
For me, I love Judy Blume. I love Agatha Christie. And you know what? I love comic books. I love Batman because Batman, I could be Batman. I'd never be Superman. I'd never fly. I'd never shoot lasers out of my eyes. But Batman's just a guy who's stubborn and has a lot of cool tools. And I was like, you know what? I could be stubborn. I could do that.
Did you ever get in trouble for writing weird stuff in school?
You know what I got in trouble for? I was always writing my own comic books. And they always would have this guy who looked a lot like me and who wore a cape. He wasn't called Brad Man, but it was pretty darn close. And that's what I used to get in trouble for because I just was always be in that story.
Meltzer Man?
Meltzer Man is not a bad thing, but trademark me.
Okay, so do you ever remember the first story you ever wrote?
The first story I remember writing, I know what it was about. It was actually about knights. I love knights, like Knights of the Round Table and King Arthur and swords and sorcery. And I remember researching that and writing my first story and thinking, you know what, this is fun. I want to do more of that.
So is it true you got 24 rejection letters for your first book?
It's true. You know what? There were only 20 publishers. I got 24 rejection letters. That means some people were writing me twice to make sure I got the point. But I said, if they don't like that book, I'm going to write another. And if they don't like that, I'm going to write another. And that's what you have to do with your dream. Keep going and keep going and keep going.
Until you achieve your goal.
Until you get your goal, that's right.
So what's the most fun part of writing for you?
The most fun part for me when I write is I get to look through someone else's eyes. That's what you do when you read a book. You get to look and be that other character. And when you write a book, you get to look through someone's eyes and tell their story. So I get to be someone like Amelia Earhart and fly across the Atlantic. I could be president like Abraham Lincoln. I can help people like Rosa Parks. I can be a great baseball player like Jackie Robinson. I can be any of those people. And that's a fun day. You get to spend it doing just about anything.
So what makes a really good villain?
Oh, you know what makes a really good villain? For me, it's someone that I understand. I'm not scared of like the giant monster that's going to knock down buildings. You know what scares me? When you go into the bathroom and you hear a noise on the opposite side of the closed shower curtain. That scares me, right? That scares me because that could happen. That's what makes a good villain, something that could happen.
So do you have a favorite superhero?
I think my favorite superhero, again, it depends what day you ask me. Sometimes I'll say Superman, sometimes I'll say Batman, but I promise I'll be one of those two because every day for Halloween, every time Halloween came around, I dressed as Batman every year. And from when I was about 6 years old until I was about 26 years old.
So if you had a superpower, what would it be?
You know what? I know you're supposed to say invulnerability because that means you can't be hurt, but I want to fly. I want to fly. If you could give me anything for 24 hours and take it away, I just want to take off and put my arms out and play that Superman theme, and that's it. That's the dream.
What kind of these heroes are you interested in?
For me, what I love is I believe ordinary people change the world. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care what your job is. I care about the power of regular people and their ability to make change in this world. And that's why I believe in someone like Amelia Earhart, someone like Abraham Lincoln, someone like Rosa Parks, just regular people like you and me. No one is born a hero. We're all born differently, but all very much the same. We all are worried and want to do better. And that, to me, is what's important.
So you're a total history nerd.
I am a complete and utter history nerd, a superhero nerd, and a book nerd. That's a lot of nerd in one place.
Okay, so why do you believe ordinary people can do extraordinary things?
Well, just look at the people themselves. You know, Amelia Earhart, when she was 7 years old, she built a homemade roller coaster in her backyard. She took a wooden crate, she put roller skating wheels on the bottom of it, she shoved it to the roof of her tool shed and came flying down the side. And then she crashed on the ground. She said, I want to do that again. That was amazing. And that's the first time Amelia Earhart flew. She was 7 years old. Abraham Lincoln, when he was a little boy, he came upon a group of boys playing with turtles. He was 10 years old. And he saw that they weren't being nice to the turtles. They were torturing them. They were putting hot coals on the backs of the turtles, trying to get them to run fast, right? Really sad. And I don't care if you're 10 years old or you're 40 years old. Sometimes it's hard to do the right thing, but someone has to. And Abraham Lincoln in that moment stood up and said, take the coal off the turtles. And I love that those things, that's not the story of a president or an amazing aviator. Those are the stories just like us. We all know what it's like to be bullied, to want to stand up to someone, to do something amazing. That's what all of us have in common.
So a lot of kids think they're ordinary, but what do you say to them?
You know, what I always say is that these stories about Amelia Earhart or Abraham Lincoln or Rosa Parks or Dr. King, those aren't the stories of famous people. That's what we're all capable of on our very best days. No one's born a hero. Every person that you love was scared. Every person you look up to was terrified. Every person you think is amazing, one day they thought, I can't do it. But they didn't let that stop them. And that's what we all have to remember. As long as you keep going, as long as you keep pushing, you can do anything.
That's very, very inspiring. Thank you, Mr. Meltzer. Oh, wait, one more thing. What's with the shirt?
The shirt, right? Every superhero, you need a good emblem on your shirt. So mine, that's what I say, dream big, work hard, stay humble. I tell my kids every night, dream big, work hard, stay humble.